It is finally time for the NFL draft. The anticipation for this event has been out of this world, and with last night being the first round and today and tomorrow being the remaining rounds, 2 through 7, I figured we should quickly go over the first round of the draft. Probably what most people are tuning in for, and then you're not really paying attention to the remainder of the draft. You're just looking at your favorite team. But I think everyone that's a fan of any team was pretty shocked, pretty surprised by some of the picks, some of the trades, some of the crazy stuff that went on last night. So I really wanted to give you my reaction. Now, obviously, this is not a live reaction by any means, but I have an opinion on quite a few things here. Now, is my opinion right? Well, probably not, but nonetheless, I figured I'd cite some of my own ideas, how I think some people fit with who and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and get right into this. If this is your first time on the channel, my name is John. This is the Sports Advocate. Give me a like, give me a dislike, give me some comments down below, some criticisms. Also, what was your favorite pick in the draft? Whether it's your team or not, who was the best fit, who was the best pick in the draft, whether that's a steal, fit, scheme, whatever. And lastly, go ahead and subscribe because I make content like this daily, and every single one of you is noticed and appreciated. It truly means a lot. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. I'm going to grab my phone here because I can't list off 32 players picked and what team and all that stuff. So, obviously, pick number 1. Jacksonville Jaguars. Everyone knew Jacksonville had that pick. There were some reports that Jacksonville wanted to trade out of that pick. Obviously, with not many QBs high in this draft, and that normally being what people will trade up for, there's no reason for anyone to trade. I feel like picks 1 through 6, you could still get a top tier guy for your team. I think that's probably why Jacksonville wanted to trade out. They ended up not being able to, but they did end up taking Travon Walker, defensive end out of Georgia. This was a surprise to me. I did not expect this. I think Walker will become very, very good in the NFL. Just his statistical categories in college didn't pop out of the screen, but when you're looking at his team, Georgia, who had a stellar defense, I think they tied the record for most defensive first-round picks from one team in a season or whatever. So the defense was great, and the fact that most of the time when that defense was on the field, the other team wasn't getting many first downs is going to limit how much players are going to be able to pop out on the stat sheet. So what he's capable of doing, Travon Walker, is going to really pop out, especially on Jacksonville, who doesn't have a whole bunch of defensive presence outside of, I think they have Josh Allen. No, not the quarterback, but they have Josh Allen, who he's doing pretty well. But I expect him to do very good things. I think some people might have been overreacting a little bit on this first-round pick. And there's the train. That's cool. Hopefully that's not too loud. Next up, we have the Lions. Detroit Lions took Aiden Hutchinson, edge out of Michigan. This is who I expected to go number 1. I'm a huge fan of this guy. The fact that the Lions got him at 2 is very, very good for them. I think the Lions are doing very well. I still don't think Jared Goff is the future quarterback for them, but nonetheless, that's a great start to a defense who honestly is not too terrible when you look at the roster. The roster, now, when they're playing, it's a different thing. But when you look at the roster, the defense is not too terrible. At number 3, Houston Texans took Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback out of LSU. Now, if you guys have watched my videos, I'm a Chargers fan. If you watch my videos on Chargers, I really, really, really wanted Derek Stingley on the Chargers. Clearly, he's not going to get there. I didn't expect him to, but I did not anticipate him to go 3rd overall. There was some thoughts in my head that he was going to be the first cornerback off the board, but I really expected Sauce Gardner to go first with Derek Stingley's injury stuff. But he went 3rd overall. That's crazy to me. He's a freak athlete, great hips, really good at everything. He just had injury. I think it's been 2 years now since he's been playing at top talent, but he was by far the best cornerback in all of college when he was healthy. Sadly, he's been a little bit beat up, but I quickly expect him in the right environment to turn that around, and the Houston Texans got a dog for themselves. Next up, New York Jets got Sauce Gardner, and some of the reactions that we saw out of the front office was incredible to watch. Their head coaches, all that stuff, they were so happy, and I'm excited for them. Sauce Gardner is going to be a freak over there. I expected him to go number 1 cornerback. I was kind of expecting him to go here at 4 or 5. Just a little surprised Derek Stingley went before him, but everyone kind of expected Sauce Gardner to go up here, so not too much there. Next up, New York Giants. Kayvon Thibodeau, edge Oregon. He was up there for talks of being number 1 overall, number 2 overall for a long, long time, and then he ends up falling on draft night. And there's quite a few people that just fell on draft night, but yeah, this is kind of expected. You're expecting most of these players in this top 5 to go in the top 5, so there's not much. Derek Stingley was really the only big outlier. And let me point something out real quick. Actually, I'll wait to point it out here in a second. Next up, number 6, Carolina Panthers. Ikwanu. I'm not going to try to say his first name because it's long. Ikwanu, O-line, North Carolina State. I'll say it right here. There was a lot of players that stayed in state, like their home state. So, like, props to them, props to their family, gets to go see their games pretty often without having to buy plane tickets. Good for them and all that stuff, but I feel like I didn't see it as much in previous drafts. My cat's going crazy. As I did this draft, I feel like it was like every couple picks, it was like, oh, hometown kid right here, and it was like, wow, like the Steelers, we'll talk about them in a second. Right here, the Carolina Panthers, all that stuff. But Ikwanu, great O-line for the Panthers to help a lot. Who's going to be the quarterback? Not sure at this moment. There's still Baker Mayfield talks, but who knows? There's still 6 more rounds of the draft, and only 1 quarterback was taken in the first round, so there's plenty of talent still remaining if you wanted to draft a quarterback. Next up, New York Giants again. This was a trade from a while back with the Bears. They have the 7th overall pick here. They take Evan Neal, offensive line, Alabama. Again, another amazing offensive lineman in this draft. Goes to the Giants, and they're going all in on Daniel Jones. Good for them. He's going to need protection. I think he's a good quarterback, but he's got a lot of slack over there, and that's a big help for his O-line. Next, Atlanta Falcons, Drake London, wide receiver, USC. They just traded Matt Ryan. Now they have Marcus Mariota. They just picked up a phenomenal tight end, and now they have a great wide receiver now in Drake London, Kyle Pitts. Ooh, I got sorry about that. There was something, I like hair in my mouth or something. So plenty of options on their offensive side. You just got to wonder if Mariota's going to be able to do it with not starting in quite some time, but that's a very good pick. Drake London being the first wide receiver off the board, I don't know how and expected that was. I don't think he's the best. When everyone's healthy, I don't think he's the best wide receiver there, but I think he was definitely a very good pick for the time being. Next up, Seattle Seahawks from the Broncos. This was the Russell Wilson trade. Gosh, I got itches. Russell Wilson trade. They take Charles Cross, offensive line, Mississippi State. I was really hoping he was going to fall to the Chargers. Didn't really expect it, but that's going to be big help for them on that offensive line. That was pretty much the reason Russell Wilson didn't want to be in that team anymore, because they never helped his offensive line, and they go out and do it. And they had Buble, whatever his name is, was on the call during that. Like, he was talking to all the people during that pick, and he was giving his live reaction, all that stuff. I guess that's kind of fun, but I don't know. That's kind of weird to me. I don't know, but good job on them to bring some O-line. You're going to give Drew Lock a shot at quarterback, and maybe next year when there's more quarterback talent is when you take a quarterback if it doesn't work out for you with Drew Lock. Good job on them bolstering that offensive line after you lose your star quarterback. Number 10, New York Jets from the Seahawks to Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State. There's so many good wide receivers here. I can't even talk about how great all these guys are. That's a super good pick for the Jets. Again, they go in on Wilson now. Good job on them. Wilson to Wilson. I saw that talk a lot. They did a super good job. They got Sauce Gardner. They got Wilson, wide receiver, cornerback, 2 of the positions in the league that need a lot of depth. Probably one of the best positions, talent-wise, skill-wise in this draft and in the league. So good on them for getting one of each in the first round in the top 10 picks. Good for them. Then we have New Orleans Saints from the Washington Commanders. They get Chris Olave. He was picked way earlier than I anticipated. The wide receiver out of Ohio State. Saints, you're going in on Jameson Winston, I guess, is the choice here. But, Chris Olave, super, super fast guy. You still got Michael Thomas over there, Alvin Kamara. They have an incredible, incredible offense. And that offense looked quite good when Winston was on the field before his injury. So good for them bringing in someone with a lot of speed. That's a very, very good pick. And then we got who I expect to be the best wide receiver out of this class as long as he stays healthy. Jameson Winston goes to the Detroit Lions after they make a trade from the 32nd pick up to 12 with the Vikings, and they take Jameson Winston to the Detroit Lions. Now again, I don't know if Jared Goff is the answer, but they're going in on him with Jameson Williams right here, and they took a very good offensive line up here earlier. Or not offensive line, edge up here earlier to help get the ball back to Jared Goff and get the ball into Jameson Williams' hands. So, maybe they're going to bite off some kneecaps on defense and then give the ball to Jared Goff and he's become MVP talent. I'm not quite sure at this moment, but good for them bringing in who I would argue is the best wide receiver in this class, especially when healthy. Good on them. Next up, this team did some crazy stuff last night. Philadelphia Eagles trade with the Texans up to 13. Take Jordan Davis out of Georgia. Phenomenal nose tackle. Insane. We're going to save what the big news was for this team, but great pick for them. Great way to move up for a guy that is very, very good talent. Probably top 10 talent in this draft. Top 8 even possibly. Super, super good talent. You didn't really expect nose tackle to go super high though. Good on them. I kind of expected the Vikings to stay there and take the exact same person as I expected the Vikings to take Jordan Davis at 12. They end up trading out, and at 13 you see a trade up from the Eagles to get Jordan Davis. That's a really good pick. I was very high on him too. We have who my biggest slide was in this draft, and I thought he was about to slide all the way to the Chargers, and I was like, oh, take him. We have a new Derwin James slide going on here. Very, very big slide. Very big slide. Kyle Hamilton, safety out of Notre Dame. There was talks of him going top 10, top 8, all offseason long. He ends up falling all the way to 14 to the Baltimore Ravens. In his report, he was like, oh, I'm glad I don't have to chase around Lamar and all that stuff, and how fast Lamar is. Now you got to chase him all the time during practice. So I guess good thing it's not in the game, but you're going to get very quick, very, very quickly following Lamar Jackson all the time. But I'm surprised he fell that far. He's very, very talented. There was so many reports that he was going to go way, way higher, and he falls all the way to 14. Good on the Baltimore Ravens for picking up a guy that was expected to go way higher. Number 15, Houston Texans take Kenyon Green, offensive line, Texas A&M. Great pick. The offensive line talent in this draft was phenomenal. Good for them taking that guy. Nothing wrong with this pick at all. Nothing much to say at that pick at all. I don't know what they're going to do for quarterback right now. So good job getting a better O-line, but I don't know what they're doing. Washington Commanders take Jahan Dotson, wide receiver out of Penn State. You're getting a guy for Carson Wentz. Hopefully Carson Wentz can throw the ball to him and not the other team. Hopefully he doesn't freaking break both of his ankles in the same play. And, that's a very good pick for them. I'm just more worried about the quarterback position than their wide receiver position because they already have a stellar wide receiver over there as long as he doesn't get traded, because we saw a huge trade. And that's coming up in 2 seconds here. This one right here, number 17, the Chargers. Take Zion Johnson, offensive line, Boston College. I love this pick. I'm not going to go in depth on this guy because I could rant for the length of this whole video. This will be in my Chargers draft analyzation review once the whole draft is over. So if you want to check that out, go check that out. It'll be out once the draft fully ends. Probably be posted on Sunday or Monday, depending on how much information I can gather in a quick time. I am very, very happy with this pick. And then number 18, from the Eagles, the Tennessee Titans select Treylon Burks, wide receiver, Arkansas. Very good wide receiver. Why are they taking wide receiver here, you may ask? Because they traded A.J. Brown to the Eagles for this pick and a third. Steal for the Eagles, if I may say. The reaction from Jason Kelsey, if you didn't know, go check it out on Twitter. He was live when this trade happened, when they went and got A.J. Brown. His reaction was insane. I love watching live reactions, especially from these guys that are on the team. Very, very enjoyable to watch that reaction. He was in the middle of an interview at the time. I still can't understand this offseason. I mean, A.J. Brown, one of the best young wide receivers in this league, gets traded to the Eagles with Jalen Hurts, who I like a lot. They have a lot of good options over there. Good for them. Good for them. I think this was a steal of a pick. Now, the Titans do get their wide receiver back, but is he going to be enough? I don't know if Julio Jones has been signed to any team. Maybe they bring him back. They obviously have Derrick Henry when he's healthy. The team was very, very good. Can Burks be a star player for them in year one and take them back to the playoffs and make a run? Who knows? Will they bring back Julio Jones? I don't know if he's even been signed yet. This next few days is probably going to be crazy for the Titans. These next few weeks, whatever, before we enter these offseason here. Once we figure out how much money they have, they might be going crazy here. But that was a crazy, crazy thing that happened last night. I thought it was like a joke at first, and then I'm like, I got to go check Twitter, and you see like these top people that you trust, like Ian Rappaport, Jordan Schultz, all that stuff. They're like, yep, this trade's real. I'm like, oh my goodness. I knew there was going to be a big trade round one of like a player, not just picks. I don't know if I expected this. I was really more expecting like Deebo Samuel, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is probably, with the fact that there's still a lot of quarterbacks up there, he's probably going to get traded on like Sunday, Monday, just next week sometime. Crazy trade, though. Good for them. Good for them. Another trade, New Orleans Saints from the Eagles. Again, the Eagles had back-to-back picks. New Orleans Saints from the Eagles take Trevor Penning, O-line, Northern Iowa. I'm a big fan of this guy. I did want him on the Chargers. I'm more happy with the Zion Johnson pick, though. This guy will fight through everything. He will make fights. This guy, he has a great mentality. He wants to be that top dog on every O-line, on every play. He wants to be that top dog. That's something great to have. And again, you're going in on Jameson Winston. Good job. First quarterback taken off the board. Pittsburgh Steelers take a homegrown Pittsburgh guy. Kenny Pickett, quarterback. Don't know how to feel about this. I don't know enough about Kenny Pickett. I'm not paying attention to quarterbacks because Chargers have Justin Herbert. Only quarterback taken in the first round. You got to wonder if the Steelers don't take him here, is he picked up by a different team in the remaining rounds, or could you have traded up in the second round and got somebody? I don't know. But he was the only quarterback taken in round one, and it was the longest wait for a quarterback since like 2013. Good for Pittsburgh. They bring in a guy that they expect to be a starter. He's competing with like Mitch Trubisky, I think, but they think it's their guy. So good for them. Hopefully it works out for them. I know there was a lot of reports about small hands, blah blah blah. I don't believe in any of that bullcrap. But next up, probably my most hated one. Kansas City Chiefs trade up with the Patriots and take Trent McDuffie, cornerback out of Washington. I did kind of want the Chargers to get this guy if some of these other options weren't gone. I like Zion Johnson more. But the Chiefs bringing in this guy sucks. Sucks a lot. Because now we got to face him twice a year. So, and they get better. But they don't have Hill. Is that going to be enough? I'm not sure. They make another great pick here later on. Green Bay Packers continue hating their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, and never pick a wide receiver in the first round. They take Quay Walker, linebacker out of Georgia. I definitely thought he was going to fall to the early second round. They take him in the late first round. I like Quay Walker a lot. I don't know how to feel about this pick to the Green Bay Packers. I tuned into Aaron Rodgers' reaction on Pat McAfee's draft I don't know what it's called anymore. The third annual one on Pat McAfee's show. I tuned in and watched Aaron Rodgers' reaction, and he was talking about, there's plenty of veteran, blah, blah, blah. You know you wanted a wide receiver round one. They haven't done it in forever for you, and they just traded out your star wide receiver. I'm sorry for Rodgers. They get Quay Walker. I think he's very good. I still don't know if he would have went that early. I think he would have fell to that second round. Buffalo Bills, 23. Take, for the first time in forever, it feels like it's not a trade. For the first time since the Chargers at 17, we have not a trade. Buffalo Bills, Kier Elam, cornerback, Florida. Don't know much about this guy. The Buffalo Bills don't have a lot of holes. They do at cornerback. They find a guy that can fill the hole. Good for them. I'm not going to say much. I don't know much about this guy. Dallas Cowboys, Tyler Smith, offensive line out of Tulsa. They're trying to rebuild that offensive line that has been good for so long. So they do it now. They start now. It looks like my quality's not doing great right now. I don't have a lot of light. It's raining outside. That's where I get most of my light from. Sorry if the quality's not great right now. Tyler Smith, they start building that O-line back. Good for them. You need to protect a guy like Dak Prescott, especially after that huge injury that he had. And you need to help your run game when you have people like Ezekiel Elliott and all that stuff, and you have great wide receivers, and Dak needs to have time to get it to him, and CeeDee Lamb and all that stuff. Geralt, stop, dude. Gosh, my cat. Baltimore Ravens take Tyler Lindenbaum, offensive line out of Iowa. I do think he's a center. This guy is a beast. Great pick for them. Baltimore Ravens, I don't know who their previous center was. I think he's a center. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Great pick for them. Great pick for them. That's it. New York Jets, third pick in this first round. Jeremiah Johnson, edge, Florida State. That's a great pick. Don't know tons about him at this point. I haven't looked into edge a whole lot, but that is a very good pick you're adding to that Jets defense. And they already just brought in Sauce Gardner. They just brought in a wide receiver for Zach Wilson to throw to. They've done very, very good this first round. I am actually, for once, able to say I think the Jets did a good job in the first round. Good on them. Jacksonville Jaguars trade with the Buccaneers. They get Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah. This was a great late round, first round pick. Devin Lloyd, I think, is going to be very, very good. The fact that he fell this far, I've seen some people compare him to a lot of people, if we're being honest. But most recently, I saw him getting compared to the Cowboys' young rookie. I also saw him getting compared to a younger Bobby Wagner. I don't know how much I agree with that one. But nonetheless, he's getting compared to a lot of very, very good players. I do like Devin Lloyd. He looks very good on tape. I think he'll do very good on that team in Jacksonville. And do they still have Miles Jack? If they do, I don't remember if they do. If they do, that's a very, very good linebacker core. Green Bay Packers have another first-round pick and take another not wide receiver because they hate Aaron Rodgers' guts. They don't. They clearly don't. They paid him a lot, but dang does it seem like it when he never gets a first-round wide receiver. I know this class has tons of depth at wide receiver, but last year it did too, and they didn't help him much. Green Bay Packers, Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle, Georgia, great pick. Another Georgia guy. They helped their run game, which struggled a couple years back, and improved a lot. Looks like it's going to continue to improve. They need to take a wide receiver in day 2. I think they likely will. There's so much talent. There's Calvin Austin, the third. Is it second? I think it's the third. There's plenty of talent. You could even wait and go get Bo Melton or something if you want a speed guy. There's plenty of options. I just think it's funny that they never take a first-round wide receiver. My friend's a Green Bay Packer fan, so I mocked him for that. That's why I think it's so funny. Next up, New England Patriots from the Chiefs. Cole Strange, offensive line, Chattanooga. Good job. You're helping Mac Jones a little bit. The offensive line was not great, but it was pretty good, and they help it improve a little bit more and help Mac Jones quite a bit. Good on them. I don't know what other moves they're going to do because Bill Belichick's always doing some wacky stuff in this draft. Kansas City Chiefs at 30 take George Karlaftis. Butchered that last name. Edge, Purdue. Again, their defense improves. Sucks to see. I don't know if this guy's going to be instant starter for them, but that is a very, very good pickup at depth or at starter. I just don't know how he's going to be played. The Chiefs did very good in the first round, as I expected, but I hate to say it. The Cincinnati Bengals take what I would argue, outside of Kyle Hamilton, the biggest steal in the first round of the draft. Daxton Hill at 31, cornerback out of Michigan. This guy is going to be great. He can play a whole bunch of positions. He is cornerback. They bring another guy to that Bengals defense that can do a little bit of everything. That Bengals defense looks very, very good, even though they're not great. Their safeties and cornerbacks look pretty good. Good for them. They're bringing a defense to that team, which seemed to be a struggle in that Super Bowl. Good on them. This is a great pick. I expected him to go right around 20, and he ends up falling all the way to 31. The last pick in the first round of the draft, from the Lions to the Minnesota Vikings, after the Lions traded up all the way to go get Jameson Williams, the Minnesota Vikings select Lewis Kine. I heard both. Safety, Georgia. Another Georgia guy in the first round. I think this is a pretty good pickup for them. They still have Harrison Smith. I don't know how much longer he's going to play, but great young safety that they bring to this team who can learn underneath them. And I think he does probably immediately improve this defense, whether you have people there or not. I think he's probably going to be a starter right away. So that's it. That's the first round of the NFL draft, and we got 6 more to go over the next 2 days. And I'm very excited. There's still plenty of people there. There's plenty of people that fell that are surprising. Booth fell. There's obviously plenty more, but that was the guy that stuck out most to me, is that Booth fell. I mean, yeah, there's so much talent in this draft. I feel like the first round talent maybe wasn't as deep as most people thought, but I think the day 2 talent is going to run heavy into day 3. Now, what I mean by that is day 1 talent is this guy's a solidified first rounder, and I think around pick 20, you're seeing guys after that go, hey, this guy's probably a day 2 pick, but there's not enough day 1 picks. But I feel like the day 2 pick, round 2, round 3, there's plenty of guys that are going to fall into round 4 and 5 that would easily go in round 2 or 3 on a less back half heavy draft. So, but with that being said, that's my reactions. A lot of great stuff going on. So many trades, so many big trades. When you see these trades up for Jameson Williams, you see these trades out of players like A.J. Brown. I'm a big fan of the Chargers pick. I'm a big fan of a lot of picks here, honestly. There's some good people that fell that got picked up late. There were some surprise picks that I still think were very good picks, like Derek Stingley. I think is a very good pick at 3. I just didn't really expect it. This was a great first round of the draft, and I expect only better things to come. Now, I think my last draft video will probably be the Chargers, the roundup. I probably won't do a day 2 reactions and a day 3 reactions just because there's so many more picks, so many more players. But I just wanted to get this out there because this was a surprise. This was fun to watch and everything. So without further ado, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. It's already 28 and a half minutes into this. So as always, give me dislike, your favorite pick down below in the comments, and do your favorite pick and or who you think the biggest steal was in round 1. Who do you think fell the most that shouldn't have? Subscribe because I have content like this daily. Every single one of you is noticed and appreciated more than you will ever know, honestly, genuinely. And as always, I hope I taught you something today. Hope it made you smile. Hope it made you laugh. That's something that's really important to me. And as always, you guys all be safe out there.